Hey everybody, this is Dan for GemmyD on Cars. Now today we are looking at a very, technologically advanced car. I've had experience driving a Tesla before. I did a review of a Model 3 when it came up, but this is a Model S. This has been the best luxury, all-electric car since it came out in 2012. And this is a 100 dual motor. They don't call it the P100 anymore. The P100D had been the fastest electric car there was, 2.5 seconds to zero, but this has the biggest battery available. It is 100 kilowatt hours. It'll charge up to 370 miles of charge, which is the most you can get on any mainstream electric car. And they were redesigned a couple years ago, just a slight upgrade, and I think it looks so sharp. I mean, this has been the best all-electric car on the market until recently when the Porsche Taycan came out, and that has similar performance, similar specs, way more expensive than this car, which is already pretty expensive, but you get a lot of technology with it. So let's take a look at this bad boy. Alright, so let's talk about the styling of this car. Now, I mentioned before that the front was redesigned a couple years ago, and I think it just looks so sharp, without a grille, because as an electric car, you don't need a grille. I always like the T of the Tesla logo as well. But this is a big car. The Model 3 is a more mid-sized car, but this is a big car, I guess, almost in between the size of like a 5 Series or a 7 Series. But there's cameras all around the car. Now, as I walked up to the car, the door handles pop out, and you have a camera right here that is facing that way, but you also have a camera right there which is facing back, as well as up on the front. Now, Gene was telling me, the owner of this car, that there is a Sentry mode that if you go into the app on your phone and you detect something around your car, all these cameras will record stuff around your car. He told me a story about how someone who keyed somebody's Tesla, and the person that did it, obviously she wouldn't know that the car was recording her, so the people who owned a Tesla, they looked in their camera on the screen and said, hey, there's this lady, and the lady eventually turned herself in. So this car is more than a car in the fact that it's recording always when you're driving forward, and just the Sentry mode, and you control most of the car. You can see everything that's going on from the app. It'll tell you how many miles you have to go, where the closest supercharger station is, where the other charging stations are. He showed me on his phone there. I mean, it would be hard to run out of charge in this car because they're always telling you where they are. I mean, if I was going to Pittsburgh and the car would know how many miles of range I had, it would say, hey, you might be a little low, would you like to stop here at this supercharger? So I think the technological advancements of it's not going to let you down. I mean, you're always going to have the ability to charge the car, but the styling I think is pretty good. I always enjoyed, like I said, the Tesla T. Now this here is a dual motor. Now I'm pretty sure this car will go 0 to 60 in something like 3.5 seconds, and in such a big car like this, which is pretty impressive. But yeah, if they ever redesign this car, it'll be tough to beat this car. It's just a sharp looking car. Now I've got the key here. We're going to open up the back trunk. Now the other thing, when this car first came out, they had jump seats in the back, but they do not offer those anymore. But this is absolutely huge. Now, because there's no mufflers or anything back here, there's tons of space back here. You can put your your charging stuff back here. So yeah, you have a bunch of stuff you could put here. Now, this is where the charging port is right here. You just press it right there and it opens up. I'm sure you have to do it on the phone. This car came with the 220 volt that he puts into his garage to charge the car, but it also came with this pack right here, which is absolutely genius, okay? This is Tesla branded right here, and it comes with all the different adapters that you would need in order to charge this car, okay? This is, like he said, is like a dryer hookup, and this is your normal 110 volt hookup. So if you needed to charge the car, you can switch out the plug to be able to charge this car. So that is another feature that lets you know that you're never going to run out and that you'll always be able to charge the car. So that comes with the car. But that's just such a good idea, to once again not let you have the ability to run out of charge with the car. So since this car does not have an engine in the front, this has a front trunk. So we're going to open that. Just hit that twice. I want to scratch the car. So this is the front trunk. It's not huge, but you know, better than any other car. So Gene and I talked about sort of like the maintenance for this car, and really all you have up here is the windshield washer fluid. And the main maintenance of this car would be the tires, rotating the tires, but you don't, this car has regenerative braking, so even the brakes would last longer. He had a friend who said, I don't even remember the last time I touched the brakes in this car. So that is such a cool feature that goes along with the all-electric car. So all right, let's talk to Gene a little bit. All right, so this is Gene. He's the owner of this Tesla. Now, just talk to me a little bit about, you know, your concerns about before you bought this car, and how has it been as a car. I'm sure it's been pretty good. So
yeah, I mean, like a lot of people, we spent a lot of time sort of as we got interested in that, as more and more of this became viable. To in pricing, it's still a little bit steep, but we made the move into it, and the idea of a battery operated car, it's, you know, I have to hand it to Tesla. We've been tracking him for quite a while with his progress with these cars, and we're very satisfied with it. The car is beautiful as far as is what we're happy with, both my wife and myself, as far as the performance of it, the looks of it, the integrity of the materials and stuff in the car seems to be, again, this is brand new, but
yeah,
seems to be holding up, you know, or appearing that it does. Is his choice of materials. So you know, there's quite a bit of sensitivity on his part for both the ecology and the economy of running it, and the batteries and so forth. So yeah, I have no faults at this point in time. I mean, there's always room for improvement, and since 2012, when they first came out, I'm sure those people saw a big difference in improvements from the first ones that they ventured into. But and I'm sure this is only halfway through hit the journey with battery cars, but we have no qualms about any of its features or performance.
Yeah, I mean, I said when I go to get my next car, I would surely consider a Model 3. It's just the prices are pretty high, but you surely, you know, it's so much technology packed into a car that I understand, you know, why the prices are so much. But I mean, looks like a hell of a car.
Yeah. Well, again, you know what I've learned of the whole thing there, the little formula that's used is the cost of the battery per kilowatt. So until that improves, or they can get around that, I think that's going to be the holding factor for the whole price of the automobile industry, really, with battery operated cars.
You said it's $100 a kilowatt hour.
That's what I think I've read, or something like that. That the cost is the formula, the rule of thumb, I guess, that they sort of go off of for the price of the cars.
Yeah, I just know that, like, when I drove the Model 3, it kind of felt like I was driving the future, sort of. I mean, the Model 3 is a little more extreme on the interior with just the one big screen. I guess this is more like a typical, you know, internal combustion car. But it's just like people were looking at me when I was driving and waving and saying like, "Oh, you know, look, that looks so cool." And I was like, it was a weird feeling, you know, someone looking at this car that I was driving. So I mean, these are pretty common, not too common here in Central PA, but I mean, it's quite a car. And I guess from somebody who created PayPal to then venture off into making his own, you know, all electric cars, I think he's, you know, quite a guy to get how far he's gone with this car. I mean, I guess they started in like 2005 or 2006, I think he came out with that little Roadster. Oh, yeah. But not until this car came out in 2012 was like a fully, you know, mainstream, you know, manufacturer car. But I mean, I think it's still unique. I mean, in 2019 here, there's no other cars that look like this on the electric car market. So Alright, so now we're going to go on the inside of the Tesla here. Now when you unlock the door handles pop out for you to go. Now we were just talking, I've heard some talk about the panel gaps or fitment of the panels, and this car doesn't seem to have any issues. There's might be just very minimal, you know, just when you run your finger down the hood, but I don't think that is an issue. So this car has the white leather and sort of like the light looking wood. Now, holy crap, this is like the first screen that I've seen like in person, and this is a 17-inch screen that you do everything with the car. I mean, every possible, input. I mean, some people have said that could be a bad thing. Let's say if you want to turn on the dome lights, you have to go into the screen to press this and get this, but I just see the responsiveness of the map here. It's very nice. Now there's other secret things you can do with the screen here, but you can control your HVAC down here, your navigation here, your music here. I mean, the screen is big enough that you can see everything. And now you've got a screen up here that'll tell you your range. It has your music over on the side. Your car is off. This is a long range. I mean, 370 miles for a car to have that amount of range. I mean, that is, you could drive to, I'm just gonna say, you could drive to Cleveland and back, on one charge. But all the wood, I really like this. It looks like a Scandinavian type wood, just like a nice like light ash wood. There's everywhere, and the screen just dominates the inside of this car. I'll be honest, I feel like Tesla steering wheels are not my favorite looking steering wheel. I just don't think it's the best looking wheel. It's nice to the touch and nice fitment. The Model 3 is so different, just has the two little buttons on the screen. But you've got the huge panoramic sunroom roof in here. Now the space is pretty big. I mean, there's 3 seats in the back. There's tons of space. And I like the little door handle here. Some people have complained that this car does not have the door pockets in the door, which is kind of interesting. But I'd say the fit and finish of this interior is pretty impressive. And you've got one little button here for the hazard lights and one little button here for the glove box. Now, the way that Teslas work is they don't have dealerships. They just have a place where you can go and sit in front of an iPad and hit the buttons what you got. It said when he ordered this car, it only took 2 weeks for him to get the car, and he said the first week was mainly for transportation, from wherever it was coming from. But to order a car and have a brand new one in 2 weeks is pretty impressive. We were talking about how they've had a goal to make 100,000 cars in a quarter, and just even 5 years ago, you would never think that Tesla would be that successful and have that many cars produced. I mean, it's really an impressive feat of business that they can produce such the quantity of cars. I mean, I know they have so many more cars with the Model 3 and the Model X and now this, and then the Model Y is coming. But I mean, people are going to hate on Tesla because for whatever reason, maybe I've always driven a big V8 and I can't get with the electric cars. But if you drive one, and I have a feeling this is going to be by far the fastest car I've ever driven, if you drive it, I think I'm gonna want one. And I wish for my next car that I could afford a Model 3, but I don't know, we'll see. But I'm not a Tesla hater, but I'm not a Tesla fanboy. I'm not gonna say, oh, it's the greatest thing ever, but this car is it's impressive. This has been the best electric car on the market for many years. Wow, look at that storage. That's kind of cool. And here's your big thing for your cup holders. But yeah, I like the color of this interior. You've got your Tesla branded cup holders up here. These seats feel very comfortable. But yeah, I'm not gonna say this is a quirky car, but yeah, just to get. Now this is where you control everything. Look at all this stuff: controls, suspension, lights, driving, autopilot, vehicle. Now I think there would be a little bit of a learning curve to get used to stuff, but you can fold everything. Exterior lights. I mean, there's a learning curve for everything. Music, calendar, camera, energy, charging. So let's see, we have 322 miles left. I mean, that's just crazy. That is such a high capacity. I mean, this is 100 kilowatt hours, which is the highest capacity that you can get. And I'm pretty sure the highest capacity of any electric car, that the new Porsche Taycan, I don't even know how you say that, probably has a similar amount of capacity. But that car is fresh to the market in 2019 here. I don't think they're even sold yet. But there's just a lot of different things you can mess with. Easy entry, navigation. Yeah, I could spend 20 minutes talking about all this, but yeah. HVAC controls, settings, any music, karaoke, Spotify, streaming, phone. I mean, it's all there. So if I was in the market for an electric car, obviously this would be the best option. I mean, I'm not going to say like a Chevy Bolt or a Chevy Volt or a Nissan Leaf would be a bad option, but Tesla just seems to be the hip company. you know, that has the style, you know, and the bravado of the Elon Musk, you know, as their CEO. But that guy is quite a businessman and an entrepreneur. And I know Gene and his wife, you know, really buy in and really like what he's about. You know, plus as an electric car, it doesn't, you know, pollute the environment like a normal internal combustion engine car would. So I mean, I'm impressed with everything about this car. The stats, the performance, you know, the fit and finish, you know, the technology behind it. You know, you can find any of the superchargers anywhere. Look, you can even change, you can go to like a terrain view. This is where we are. Let's see, my house is right down there. That is my house right, where is it? Right there. There's my retaining wall. So yeah, just, I mean, the map is so crisp and so clean. I mean, it just feels like an iPhone. It's just impressive. I guess I'll go back to this, what Gene had. So I'm impressed with this car. This is, without a doubt, this is the best, you know, full-size electric car on the market. I mean, and that is saying something for a car company that has only been around for making cars for a little over, let's say, 15 years, and really seriously for the last, you know, 6-7 years. So I'm a fan. I'm not going to say I'm a Tesla fanboy, but this is an impressive car. So, all right, let's wrap this up, and then we're going to take this thing out on the road. So to wrap up the Tesla Model S, I mean, without a doubt, I'd say it's the best, you know, all-electric car on the market. It remains to be seen how this car will compete with the Porsche Taycan, which is just coming out now or in early 2020. But it's got the style, it's got the technology, it's got the man behind the mask. But yeah, Elon Musk is quite the guy to have taken this company to what it is today. And I mean, I'm surely excited to maybe possibly have one in the future. I know my one neighbor is going to think about getting one too, but I mean, it's got the style and everything with it. So let me know what you think. Leave me a comment below. We're going to wrap this up and get this car on the road. I'm very excited. So don't forget to follow me on Instagram @GemmyD on Cars, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. See ya.